Hi, this is just a random interlude. A couple of things I was thinking about. When me and my sister were younger, and I'm under 10, but I'm not entirely sure how old, we were in town and we had to catch the bus to come home. And we asked the bus driver, do you go to Culver Way? Because we weren't entirely sure if it was the right bus, but I think like the buses were quite irregular, so we just wanted to get home. And he said, yeah. So we got on. And we both remember feeling really uncomfortable the whole time, like we were scared, like we were going to be hurt. I don't remember who was on the bus, like what they were doing, but we both remember being very scared on that bus trip. And it drove all around different ways to what we were used to. And we think, well, he did say it was going the way we need to go, so we'll eventually get there, but it never did. And then we like rode it all the way back to the beginning, basically. And then like we spoke to him and he said, oh, sorry, I thought you said Chaucer Way, which is actually where my nan lived. So obviously we got off the bus. But when I spoke to my sister back in the summer, she just brought this up and she said, oh, do you remember that bus trip that was really scary? And I was like, yeah, I do actually. And I don't remember an awful lot from my childhood. But she looked at me and she said, do you remember how we got home after? I don't remember getting another bus. And I don't know if my mum drove, like we couldn't have rung her to get us a lift. So I just thought it's interesting how the mind sort of filters out some things, but I do remember the fear. And then there was another thing that I don't know if I've talked about on here, but I feel like I've cemented myself as a weirdo, so I can definitely talk about this. I was about 6, 7, I'm not entirely sure. We went to the Isle of Wight on holiday and we were at a theme park. I think it was Black Gang Chine, I think it was called that at the time. And we were allowed to go off, me, my sister, and a friend who was a little bit older, and wander around. And they wanted to go on this sort of pedalo thing on a lake, and I didn't want to for whatever reason. So I just said, I'll wait here on the grass. But the next thing I remember is being reunited with my family at least an hour later, I believe. And they'd been calling out on the tannoy for me, but I must have wandered off and got lost. And I don't know if I've just made this up or it's a memory from the time, but I do remember like a man coming towards me, like reaching out his hand. And obviously, as a kid, you're always trained, don't go with anybody you don't know. But I felt like I did know this person. But like I said, I don't know if I'm just making that up after the event. But anyway, my mum was furious because she said, didn't you hear all the tannoy messages, etc.? And I was just like, I have no idea where I've been or what's happened. And when I asked her about it recently, she said, I think it was a place called Robin Hill. I think that was the name. And I did look it up recently. Well, a couple months ago anyway. Anyhow, that's all a bit weird. Thanks if you listened to that.